Hey guys, I hope everyone is having a fantastic day. It's Monday, so it is something that not everyone likes, but that doesn't mean that we don't embrace the day and we're not more, so I would say, graceful about it or accepting of it. And I am so excited today to talk about this awesome topic that I have picked. I know I'm a clinician and it's so, I would say, kind of separated from being clinician to be an entrepreneur. And I would say that that whole gap is getting bridged more and more now. And more people are interested in basically, I would say, starting as entrepreneurs. Is that right? But we have some real challenges when it comes to that, right? And that's why it's important that we talk about those. And that's the reason I picked this topic today, because there's so much to learn and so much to talk about it. But the problem is, where do we even start, right? Like, we have an idea or we have a drive or we have that sense of becoming a business owner, but then we don't know what to do with it. Or it's just so easy to get a paycheck, or it's just so easy to, I would say, kind of go and work for someone, that we kind of put it off. Because let's be honest, it's a lot of work to put in to be able to actually have a business that we can thrive with and be successful with. And that's why I wanted to share my journey and what I've learned. I think everyone will really find this insightful. So without any further delay, let's get started on this topic. I have a little slideshow I've prepared. So entrepreneurship, not a smooth road like this. What you're seeing over here is really, really awesome. And I wish it was like that. No matter what you have or what you build or like how long you've been in on it or you get passed on as inheritance, there's always going to be roadblocks and challenges. So anybody thinks that, you decided to be in business, you want to just kind of start talking about that and people will just automatically work with you, probably the chances are it's not going to happen that way, because there is a lot of people trying to work with a lot of people. So there's a lot of competition, and then the trust. A lot of people actually who know you, they trust you the least when it comes to a niche market. That's what I've noticed. Like, none of my friends came and supported my business when I started, especially when I decided to drop out of corporate and I didn't want to do anything to do with having a job. Pretty much my friendship ended with the job, and I try to keep up with them in the sense like to keep the relationship going, because you build great relationships with people and teams that you work with, and then you realize that you were just too, I would say, unrealistic when it comes to how much people will actually invest in you if you don't have that role or position anymore. So yeah, when I was actually a staff pharmacist and a pharmacy manager, I had a lot of people around me all the time, but then suddenly nobody's to be found anymore. So that's one thing that I would say is you do have to be ready to kind of create your own community. And that's what gave birth to Functional Wellness Network. I'm not going to lie. But that's okay, because that's what I wanted to do anyways. It was a decision that I made after knowing what's going to happen, because in India, it was kind of similar, but it's more of a big entrepreneur community that we have in there. So actually, I had a lot of support back there. So it was kind of different starting up here, because you would go from corporate to a job and, just sharing my experience. So it's different from country to country. And I'm glad that I kind of get to experience the best of two worlds. And absolutely, they're both my favorite. I love India too, and I love America, and it's hard to kind of pick, because one's your motherland, one's your homeland. And what I would say is, without like getting too caught up in what happens, if you've decided to make your mind about going towards the entrepreneurship journey, then make it all about the whole experience and the journey, and not about the destination. A lot of people get caught up like, oh, I have to make 6 figures. Oh, I have to make multiple 6 figures. I have to make 7 figures. No, you're going to get there if you're passionate about what you've picked, and if you're smart on knowing how to scale, because there's a lot of roadblocks when it comes to entrepreneurship. A lot of people think that it's more about being solopreneur, and that's also where they kind of, I would say, lose. So let's kind of evaluate these things, where honestly, I have experienced some of it in one of my previous business, and that's why I picked a specific model of business after that. So I had an LLC, and it was, you know, I would say a partnership with another partner that we both put in a lot of money into the project that I'm going to share on this. So I had the business plan. That was okay, but then I did not have the dynamic data on it. So, and I had definitely bad location. So we'll talk about that. So some of the challenges or some of the reasons why businesses fail is, I would say, not satisfying a need. So I would say when clients have certain type of requirements from what you're offering, you're not able to really kind of provide all of it. And that's one of the reasons. And the easy thing with that is that you could actually just hire someone and or partner up with someone who could be an essential service provider, right? Bad business plan. Yes, that can happen if you are overestimating. And how do I know that? Of course, I've written bad business plans before. And this is a long journey that I'm talking about as an entrepreneur. Like my first entrepreneurship winter was when I was 9 years old, and I talked about it in one of the recent posts. So bad business plan. Yes, I've made those, and of course now I know how to not make those, and that's what I love about it. Lack of financing. Yes, I went through that one time where my business actually just went into a whole cash crunch, and I had to borrow some money and all that. That was when I had Sixth Element. Bad location. Yes, yes, yes. Just like real estate, you know how we say location, location, location. Bad location is a problem. Inflexibility. I would say, you know, as a business owner, how open-minded you are and how flexible you are is also going to determine how long you will stay in the game, because being flexible is the first thing that you have to become if you want to be an entrepreneur. And then rapid expansion. This is a good problem to have. We can definitely hire consultants for that, but the other ones, not so much, I would say. So here's the business that I had before, and I took a good 100,000 personal loss, and then my business partner took the same. So together, probably I would say $250,000 that we lost on this, but it was really well done. We knew what products and services we wanted to offer. We were doing really good when it came to satisfying the need of the marketplace. We had a yoga cafe, a functional medicine practice where we did a lot of nutrition consulting and put people on supplements. We had the aerial yoga. And of course, we had hatha yoga and vinyasa. We had a functional studio, if you could see it here, which means that you work out with your body weight and free weights and just some props, but nothing too major there. We had a whole food cafe, which was also really good food and all that. So pretty good stuff, right? Like looks pretty awesome. But the location was really, really not the right one. Why? Because we were in a brand new area, which was really, really affluent, but we forgot that, a lot of affluent people don't have time. So what happens is with this business, we would do really well till it hits summer. And in India, a lot of rich people, they actually go to US, Canada, and mostly London. These are the three countries that I've seen them go, or sometimes even Australia. So what happens is the whole summer, which is almost about 4 months, 5 months, that is kind of missing business. Like that's a really big hit to take. And we do not have subscription model or legal rights to do subscriptions there, at least that I know of. So we couldn't survive. We would do well, but then it wasn't enough to sustain for about 4 to 5 months. So bad location, because if we were in a more denser area, it would be better. And then of course, when you have your in and out not going through correctly, that's when a business fails, right? So been there, done that. I've had brick and mortar. I've done, figured out a product or a service I really enjoy. So that's the biggest challenge. I would say the biggest thing is, where did that slide go? Okay, you know what? We missed that slide. But basically, I had a slide that said that the biggest challenge in the entrepreneurship world is to figuring out basically what product or service you want to offer. What are you really good at? What is your zone of genius? What is your zone of excellence? And where is what you want to spend time on, right? So that's one thing that really you need to niche down, because if you can figure out what you're really good at and what you enjoy doing, because just because you're good at something doesn't mean that you could enjoy doing it. Like I'm really good at being a pharmacist and I can really run the show seamlessly. I'm like hands-on and, I could do multitasking, but do I enjoy doing that? No, I don't. So it's suffocating to be in that, right? Anyway, so we were talking bad location. That's what happened with that one. And then because of bad location, there wasn't enough inflow of money, and then we would kind of struggle. So that was analysis, and it was, I would say, $1 million lesson learned, because I know how to not do this again. And that's why when I launched my second business, I was successful with that, right? Oh, here's the slide. So sorry, I put it in the back. So the biggest challenge is figuring out what kind of service or product you want to offer. It's not an easy question, because getting in it with the wrong business will basically, no matter what you do, is going to fail, right? That's why having a mentor or a coach really helps there, because if they're successful and they have the blueprint and there is more like a whole system available, I would be someone who just kind of follow that and then fine tune it. So why basically reinvent the wheel when it's already invented? But you could actually just put some rims on it. And that's what I like to do. So, this is beautiful. The picture, I really, really like it. But the whole point is that it's about the whole experience and not just going to the top of the mountain. It doesn't work like that. So if you're always just worried about not having money or having, to fail, or self-doubt kicks in, you get cold feet. Oh man, it's really, really scary then. So the great venture, my whole point with this today's talk was, how do we position ourselves as powerful entrepreneurs? And especially if we are in the healthcare field, because that's where my main whole offering is, because we can relate better. We've seen, the thick and thin together. And my question is, what is the great venture that you want to do? And how are you going to come up with the whole idea? Do you have the right people to talk to? Because a lot of people will discourage you. I'm not gonna lie. Like nobody, as I said, nobody from my job actually talks to me anymore because either they're jealous or they're feeling like, oh, she's not one of us, or they're just like, we don't want to deal with her anymore. She doesn't have the position that she used to have. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But the whole point is that you have to really have someone guide you if you're kind of lost, because a lot of people are. And that's why it's really important for people like me to be there present, because that's my mission and life purpose. But I hope you really enjoyed this. I wanted to keep this short so that we can have more inbox chat. So why don't you send me a message, and I'll talk all about like what I know, and I would love to hear about what you're thinking and how you want to implement it. So until next time, namaste. It was awesome presenting this, and we'll